Hello, and welcome to the live drawing party. I'm Danny Gregory, and it is Monday, April 13th. Monday, beginning of a fresh week, full of fresh, exciting opportunities to make art, live life, hoard toilet paper, whatever you'd like to do. We are here to do it. So, I hope you had a pleasant weekend. I hope you had a weekend. I think that's an important thing to do, for at least for us it is. We decided that weekends are going to be different from the week. Yesterday was Easter, and we had a big Zoom conversation with extended family members. It was very nice. And we watched one of the smallest members of the family search for Easter eggs in the backyard, which was nice. And it was pleasant and relaxed, and we had a steak on the barbecue, our first steak on our barbecue in our new house. So, all's good. Still don't have coffee. Have come up with this. Again, not a sponsor, but Starbucks Frappuccino chilled coffee drink. So it'll have to do until the coffee actually arrives. Tea bags arrived, so that's a step in the right direction. Have spent the last week, more or less, with a low-grade headache coming from caffeine withdrawal, no doubt. So anyway, we are ready to start the week off with some new stuff. So today we are going to draw, we're going to do something I've done before with some of you, which is drawing from old mug shots. But we always loved doing that, didn't we? So I think we're going to do that today too. But I've got a few other things I want to talk to you about first. As I mentioned to you on Friday, my art supply fairy showed up and brought me a bunch of art supplies. And I had a lot of fun playing around with some stuff that I've never used before. That was really the opportunity that this bestowed upon me. So she gave me a bunch of stuff that I've, as I said, never used before. One of them is this. These are chalk markers. And they're an interesting medium. They're the kind of thing that I think people use like in restaurants to do the blackboards. Or, but it's interesting. I'm not quite sure what it is exactly. It's sort of like a paint marker. Not sure exactly. It wasn't. I tried writing with it in. I tried writing with it just to see how it would work, and it was okay. It was okay. The pastels, as you can see, were much better, much brighter. But if you really shook them up and pushed on them hard, they got kind of worked. Hey, if any of you are having what's going on with some of you are not seeing me, refresh a page. I'm here. I am here, right? You guys are seeing me. I don't know. Anyway, we'll have to carry on so you can see me, you can hear me. Clearly, some of you can. Okay. What else did the Art Supply Fairy bring me that I'd never used before? Well, this box, okay? These are oil pastels. Again, something brand not. I mean, I'd certainly heard of oil pastels, and but man, when I opened that box, let me show you this particular box. And those of you who know that I like color can imagine how excited I got when that slid out. Yeah, that was pretty exciting. There's a bunch of them, but that first drawer with those colors, that got me excited, very excited. There are also some pastel pencils. Again, something I haven't really used before, Derwent pastel pencils. Um, these are, they're good, but I have to say those pastel oil pastels. Let me just show you what I did with them this weekend. I just fooling around. Honestly, I've never done it before. Oh, and I got this. She was also kind enough to give me this black sketchbook. Yeah. So I did a bunch of things. I'm going to show you. Took some pictures of them. I'll show them to you here. Here we go. Let me just get the thing going. Okay, come on. Here we go. Yes. All right, so I drew this tree in my yard, a chair, the pool, another table and chair thing set up. This is the orchid that I drew last week. Kept working on that guy because his colors are just amazing. Really interesting. This is just a towel flung over a chair. This is a combination of the chalk markers, the pastel pencils, and those oil pastels. Now I'm starting to get a little nutty and to kind of pull them all together. This is the neighbor's house. And that's how I ended the day with a new kind of scotch that we've discovered that is called, I think it's called hog nose. Smooth as a hog's nose, they say, and it was. So yeah, so that's kind of where I went with it. I don't know. I have no idea if that's what one is supposed to do with it. Looking at the cover of the box, I didn't really do that. But looking at the cover of this, yeah, I kind of did that. I mean, that's the thing. You get a brand new medium, you go, what do I do with this? So I don't know. It felt like color. Like, wow, get some color going. And also, I mean, I love drawing on the iPad principally because I love the color. And I love the fact that you are looking at light, colored light on a sheet of glass. It's like a stained glass window. It's like a TV screen. It's very, very intense. And I always remember when I was a kid, I grew up in other countries where we didn't have color television. And I remember when we came to, it might have even before I came to America. Yes, we once went on a trip when I was about 10 to London. And this might be a made up memory, but there was a theater in Trafalgar Square that only showed cartoons 24 hours a day. You think that's true? I mean, it's definitely a memory of mine. And so we went into this movie theater and I saw colored cartoons projected for the first time. So I was like 9 or 10. And I'll always remember that experience of like this insane color. I was used to, at best, crappy black and white TV cartoons, and suddenly, wow, there was this amazing thing. And it's always resonated with me. I think that memory has affected the way that I make drawings ever since. But yeah, it could be possible. A 24-hour, like really, were people at 4 a.m. going into Piccadilly, was it Piccadilly Circus? Yeah, it wasn't Trafalgar Square, it was whatever, the same thing. Piccadilly. Oh my God, there's a red-tailed hawk sitting right on a wire right there. There's a giant, it's like this size, sitting right there, looking around. No wonder all the birds have suddenly gotten quiet. That's crazy. You can't see it. Sorry. Anyway, this is an exciting morning. So what I want to do today is we're going to draw from pictures. If you want to get ready, go here, and you will see this is a URL to a page on our blog. And there are some pictures that you could download if you wanted to. Or you could look at the description down below here on YouTube. I've also put the URL there. So if you want to go and get these pictures, download them in advance, you can. I'll also put them up on screen so we can draw from them. But in the meantime, let me show you a little video of, this is from our class, People Drawing People. It's a little kind of side video that we made of Carlos Aponte, a great artist who I really love, and my wife, Jenny, drawing each other. So just to kind of get the juices flowing, let's watch Jenny and Carlos, and then we'll get on with it.
Carlos Aponte, I am so delighted that I got to spend the day watching you draw. I'm so lucky I got a preview because I'm here on set.
Well, thank you, JJ. Nice meeting you again.
I really do think you're a great addition to Sketchbook School, and people are going to enjoy hearing all of the great tips and tricks that you had to discuss with Danny earlier. Now, of course, I heard them all, but there was a lot of content there, right? So it's kind of maybe some gone in one ear and out the other. And now that I'm sitting here about to approach a drawing, I can't remember any of it. So you're going to help me to make a really beautiful portrait of it,
That's
right?
fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's good. So one of the things I always talk, and you'll get tired of me hearing this, but it's of shapes. I call them containers. Containers. Like, for example, if I do the shape of your face, your oval face, I have a container, and inside I'm going to place the items called the eyes, the nose, the lips, the eyeglasses, everything like that, in a way that help you to really get to the point of where things are placed. And when you're doing containers, you also have to think about the line quality, thin, thick, depending of how you see the face, the eyes, everything else. For example, if I do the eyes, but they're going to be softer lines, and of course the glasses are going to be thicker lines, because they're coming, forward. But the idea is containers. Think about if I take a photograph of you, and I take black markers, and I'm going to black out your face and your neck, it will create a shape. The same thing with your hair, your nose, your sweater. That's how I approach a drawing or approach anything. Everything has a character, so
Well, I think I'm pretty lucky that you don't have a big bushy beard.
Can you do one? Because everybody's been asking me, like, can you have a bushy beard?
I'm sure it would look very nice on you. All right, so where should I start?
You start with the head. Right here, this place, this here.
Okay.
Okay, what is the shape, What do you see in the shape? Actually, I can do it a little bit like this because then you have a different line here and a different line here. You see, you have my ear here and you don't have any ear here.
That's
you see
true.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So really help you to kind of because if I do this, you're trying so hard to match this ear with this ear. I don't want you to do that. I want you to don't think about that.
So are you saying you're going to be able to draw a really good portrait of me with one eye open and one eye closed? That's a real skill. You'll probably also do it in about 3 minutes.
So I want you to think that way. I want you to start with shape. Like, think of all the shapes, like the shape of the face, and then you do the shape of the ear, the neck, maybe the turtleneck and the shirt. And when you have that, then you can do the glasses.
So the last thing will be the glasses?
Well, yes, I think you can do the glasses last. I mean, the most important thing is right here.
Okay.
Right now.
Okay.
You want to try?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. And I'll draw you too. How about that?
Okay.
All right, good.
All right, ready, set, go.
I'm going to be very slow.
I like that.
Okay. And don't try to make it perfect. Just have fun with this. This is a fun process. Because we as artists, we see different things, we see different, we draw different. We all have character.
I've got a lot of work to do to make a plaid shirt here.
Oh, you don't have to wear the plaid right now.
No?
No.
But I like the plaid. All right, now I have to work on your delicious smile, but that's...
I'm going to keep it very serious now.
But
It's
I
easier.
like, but the teeth are so nice. So should I start on the eyebrows first, do you think?
What do you feel more comfortable with? Because there's no, at this point, and once you do the container, you figure out what works for you best. At the end of this, it's about what it's the character of the person. What do you see? It's not about make them look just like, but the essence of me.
Handsome.
Oh, thank you so much. But like, you know, like my nose or my ears, what is the size,
You have a
all
nice
those
straight
things.
nose, that's for sure.
So those are the things that you have to consider. You see, that's the beauty of drawing, that you are able to do your own version of me. It has nothing to do with like if it has to be perfect. It's your version of how do you see me. So draw what you think it works for you.
It's thicker in the middle.
Your drawing look very calder, and I like that. No,
I'll take it.
Think of it like you're doing the, your drawing feels like you're doing out of wire.
Ooh,
Which
that's
which
fun.
make it a really interesting drawing.
Your lips almost look too perfect. Your lips are kind of perfect.
I see myself there. That's good.
That's the
No,
best
I
compliment.
do. But it's true. I see myself there. You see, it's just the placement of things and how they relate to each other. That's the most important thing. So for the glasses, maybe you can use one of these markers.
Okay, cool. And then I can use that for the
Yes.
plaid too?
Yes.
I feel like I want to tackle this ear just a little bit because...
That's fine. You can do another line here. Don't be afraid to overlap lines.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've changed position on me.
Oh, did I? There.
Yes.
How about here? How about now?
There was something like a negative space I was trying to find, and here there was like a little bit of
Is that good?
round area. Almost looks like a bean. All right.
Fantastic.
That was fun. All right, so let's be bold with this glasses
Right.
moment. I mean, they're really pretty rectangular.
They're kind of a little bit oversized also. Then you like that the quality of the line in very dark is create a really nice tension with the lines in the light lines. And you frame in the face with the eyes with the frames.
So now there's really a moment in the right position. All right, we're just gonna pretend that
That's
your ear goes
good.
there.
That's good. That's really good. So why don't you do the turtleneck all black? Like really a beautiful black shape. Just fill it out.
Turtleneck is a nice thing to draw. It's very forgiving.
Those lips, the nose, everything just feels right.
All right, we're gonna make this the easiest plaid that I know how to make. Oh, but I kind of lost that collar, which I liked.
Now make it really dark now.
Et voila!
Yes.
It's missing your glorious smile.
Oh, thank you so much.
But
No,
teeth
but
are
I think
probably
it's
really
great.
hard to draw, right? Take forever each little shape.
Just leave it blank.
All right, can I see the one you made?
Yes, that's you.
That's me for sure.
Yeah, that's you.
I love it. That's so nice.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Show everybody who's been watching us patiently. We should hug, for goodness sake.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Remember hugging? Didn't think so. So that's my wife Jenny and my pal Carlos Aponte drawing each other. And now we're going to draw people we don't know. Seems appropriate for these days. We're going to draw strangers. So I see some of you had a problem probably downloading these images. That's probably because you were not using Chrome, you were using Safari. So I apologize for that, but I don't think you'll need it. I think you'll be fine with this. Look, there he is. Nice and big, right? Nice big guy. So you can see him fine, hopefully. And you can see little tiny me here. Kind of unnecessary, but there I am. So I don't have any particular thing to suggest to you, but I thought that a lot of the things that Carlos said there were really great. I mean, I think he was always just an amazing artist and an amazing teacher. So, I think he And one of the things that he always says, what I love, is this idea that the face is that first you build the room and then you furnish the room. So, in other words, first you draw the outline of the shape of the face, and then you go in and you draw the features. And it's interesting that he told her to put the glasses in last, isn't it? So, what we're drawing here today is a photograph of a rather severe looking gentleman who was arrested at some point in 1927, some point, August 29th, in fact. He was arrested for some nefarious act. We don't know what it was. And he had his picture taken by the police. And the police, this is the police in Australia, because this guy was an Australian criminal. So yeah. So not that any of that necessarily matters to you, but you could consider it if you wanted to while you're drawing him. And that's about it. So let's begin. Let's begin drawing him. Sorry, I'm vamping, as you can tell, because I'm thinking with the talking part of my brain while I draw. I might be talking with the drawing part of my brain. That would be bad. So yes, I'm furnishing the face. So I said that video is from this really, really good course that we made called People Drawing People. It's funny, my drawing is starting to look a bit more like Carlos than it is like this guy, but that's okay. I don't know. What I like about drawing from these old mug shots is people just seem to have something sort of interesting about them. Maybe just because they're criminals, and criminals are always, while they're horrible people, they're also somehow interesting. Who knows? This guy might not have been guilty. He might just have been arrested for some kind of malfeasance or maybe not even a malfeasance. Maybe it was a mistake. He was at the wrong place at the wrong time, right? He could be completely innocent. Although, look at that face and that expression. I don't think so. As is so often the case with these mugshot drawings, I start out intending to draw a really good drawing of this person, and then I end up just kind of making up some weirdo of my own. So you're perfectly free to do that too. You don't have to draw this guy. You can just use his face as a springboard. because I think when I've thought about doing this drawing, this is not what I'm doing now is not at all what I intended to do. I intended to kind of break his face down into much more of an abstraction because he has somewhat of a cartoony face. But now suddenly, for some reason, maybe it's because I just watched Carlos and Jenny striving a bit more for a likeness. I don't know. All right, it's time to mess this guy up a bit. This is not going according to plan, so let us mess with him a bit. Yeah, because I think, don't you think he feels more like a cartoon character? And don't you think I've made a grievous error by making him look a little too, I don't know, respectable in some ways? I'm not happy. I'm not happy with this, which is okay. It's an opportunity to do something completely different. And that's what I'm going to do now. Hopefully you'll tolerate this while I this is feeling better. I feel sometimes like I have different ways of approaching a drawing. But it's almost like I have to give myself permission sometimes to think a little bit. When I do, I go in a completely new direction. You know, when I think about what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, then I kind of decide what my approach is going to be. But if I don't think about that and I just start drawing, I'm not really making art in a way. I'm just going through this the motions of doing a drawing. Like it's like a mechanical act, you know. I'm not saying anything. I'm just talking. Just kind of what I'm doing now too. sometimes it's important to give up. It sounds like a weird thing to say, but no point being a damn fool about it. But if you're going down a road and I mean, sometimes you can wrestle the drawing back onto the road. And sometimes you can say, you know what? It's not that I was making bad lines or anything. It's just I didn't know what I was doing. And I'm still a little confused about what I'm doing, but I feel a bit more like there's a feeling in what I'm doing. A feeling. And that's sort of important because if you don't have a feeling about what you're trying to say with it, then it just becomes just wandering, which sometimes can be good too. I mean, honestly, there are times when you just feel like doing the act of drawing and you don't necessarily want to have express anything, and then you find your way to an expression. That can happen also. In this case, I felt like I did have something I wanted to say about this guy, you know? And what is it that's intriguing about him? It's his brilliantined hair. That's kind of interesting. And it's the fact that he has a slightly bemused expression, right? He looks slightly sort of smug, like, yeah, like he's not terribly concerned about the fact that he's been arrested. Probably been through this before. And so, I wanted to kind of capture some of the feelings about that. I don't know that I'll necessarily convey that particular emotion, but there's definitely some feeling that I had about this guy when I looked at him. And so I think it's important to, if you're not feeling anything, to say to yourself, maybe I need to try something different or turn the page and start again. It's perfectly fine. It's usually only paper, which is cheap, and in this case, it's pixels, which are even cheaper. So why not? So today, I was definitely going to get into some of the other art supplies that my art supply fairy sent me. Namely, there's a bunch of watercolors that look intriguing to me. I'm definitely going to dip into those. And there's also a big thing of India ink, and there's some dip pens, and I'm intrigued by those too. I mean, I haven't drawn with a dip pen in a month. I haven't written with a month for a month, and I definitely like to do both. And I was thinking, like, I need to find a good topic, a good subject for drawing with a dip pen, because dip pens are pretty expressive things, but they're particularly good when you have a kind of a complicated subject that has a bunch of has some high contrast to it, has some shadows to it, and so you have an opportunity to do a bunch of cross hatching. I wonder what it's like to be a criminal right now, like a professional criminal. I don't know that there really even are actually professional criminals, but they're on the movies. But What is it like to be, a second story man or a cat burglar during these times? Like, if your job requires you to go out and be among people, being a pickpocket, let's say, or what would this guy be doing right now? Would he be sheltering at home safely? Or would he be eyeing somebody's open window? Or he looks kind of like a con man, or even a pimp maybe. Chris thinks he was a con man. Yeah, probably. So Jen says crime has gone down, but cybercrime is up. So it's good to know that everybody is thinking about how to use the internet more productively these days. I think that's reassuring, isn't it? No. Do you think they're holding like Zoom chats about heists? Is that going to be the next thing? Probably, right? I mean, that would seem like a pretty good movie thing to have. A bunch of criminals on a Zoom thing, doing screen shares, doing little PowerPoint presentations about the layout of the bank, all that stuff. Why not? Somebody tried to rob a closed restaurant, says Chris. That's nice. So, yeah, that's good. Anybody who wants to know what I'm doing right now, I'm drawing with an app called Procreate. It is an app, and if you'd like to know more about how I do that, you can check out, of course, the course that I teach called How to Be an iPad Artist. And you'll know what the hell I'm doing right now. Because I'm sure there are a few of our iPad artist students out there who are like, oh yeah, now he's doing this. Now he's doing that. Correct? Correct. Sure, because you're the best students. You're paying extreme attention to it, and you know exactly the techniques that are essential to mastering Procreate on the iPad. I think that's a good point that Jen is making. I bet this guy never imagined that 100 artists would be sketching him. It's true. Actually, there are 352 artists right now sketching him. Hopefully, you're all sketching him. But yes, it's true. And he would probably have tried to figure out a way to make a buck out of it, right? Because he was an arch criminal. Or was he? Australia, 1927. What was that like? I think this is also um, Western Australia, which was, from my experience of it, yeah, Western Australia was a little rougher than Eastern Australia to this day, I think. A lot of mining has a certain Wild Westiness to it. What do you think? I don't know. What else can I do to this guy? Okay, he needs. I know what it is. He needs some more shading in here. Eyeballs. Sink those eyes back into the sockets a bit more. The key to doing this kind of thing is to just keep building layers. And it's key in a number of different ways. One, you do get a bit more subtlety, you get depth, but also you can sometimes fix mistakes by adding more stuff. But as somebody has already noted, it's also possible to overwork it, and you don't want to try to not do that. All right, so my guy looks a little bit more surprised than resigned or cocky, but maybe it's who he is. My guy's a slightly different guy than the guy in the photo. Okay, I think that's enough. All right, that's pleasant. Okay, I'll keep working on that later on. It needs to be a bit more textured, I think. So, how are you guys doing? Pencil Thin Mustache. I know that song. I always thought it would be cool to. I actually have, at one point, I did, just for one photograph, have a pencil line mustache. It's a lot of work having one of those mustaches. You have to constantly be like going at it with a single razor blade and keeping it super thin. Um, I think people in those days had fewer clothes, right? You'd have like 2, maybe 3 suits, and so you kind of have a look that you cultivate, and things like a mustache. You get your mustache right, you get your brilliantine right, and then you kind of just stick with that, and just have that look. It's good to have like a. I mean, I guess in some ways they were generic. Like a lot of people had pencil mustaches, and everybody had a suit. All the men did, and hats. It's another weird thing. Hats. I mean, now for a while at least, people were wearing baseball caps all the time, but the whole hat thing is clearly not the sine qua non that it used to be. Right? Is that the right term? Yeah. So I'm not quite sure what the thinking was behind having a hat all the time, always going out with it, rain or shine, year rounds, all the season. If you know, let me know. Like, why did men in particular? I mean, for women, I think it was a fashion accessory, but for men, it almost seemed like it wasn't a fashion. It just seemed like that's what you did. Like, you wouldn't go out without shoes or, pants, nor would you go out without a hat. Everybody, all these guys, I'm not sure what the reasoning was. Hurdy-gurdy guy had a pencil line mustache for 6 months. Too much work, right? Because as soon as it starts to grow above it, looks cheesy. Yeah. A fedora. It's true. I'm not a hat person. I look stupid in a hat. I don't know. I never feel comfortable in a hat. Generally don't wear one. But Karen says, my grandmother is from that era and always stressed fewer clothes but very high quality. I have one of her coats which I wear from time to time. It's still very elegant. It's true. I think that's true. I mean, even in France, people wear. They don't have that many clothes, it seems, but they're all really good quality. I think that's more of a thing. It's good as opposed to just like going to Uniqlo every week. Go to your tailor, have them throw something together for you. All right, guys, that was kind of longer drawing than I thought, but it's probably because I had to do it again. It happens. I am working on ideas for what we can do in the future. If you have any, if there are things you'd like to do, I'm thinking we might go back and draw prompts again. We did that for quite a while on Draw With Me, and that was nice. So we might go back and do that. But it's also nice, I think, to look at some videos from Sketchbook School's archives, like we did today, people drawing people. And you tell me what you'd like to do. And you can tell me in comments here. You can tell me, you could email me, Danny@sketchbookschool.com. You could post it on social media, whatever you want to do. You could drop it in the schoolyard if you're a member of it. And just say, is there something you'd like to do when we meet tomorrow morning? I'll be thinking. I'll come up with a list. But I'd like to do stuff that you'd like to do. And now that I have a broader selection of art supplies, there's all kinds of things we could do. Because actually, I got even more art supplies that Jenny ordered for me that arrived after the fairy. So I live with another art supply fairy. Unbeknownst to me, she ordered me a bunch of stuff too. So I kind of got the full kit now. I'm ready to roll. So let's do that. I'll look. I see a few lists of questions popping up here, suggestions popping up here. I'll look through them, and we'll see. Maybe we'll even try them all. That would be fun. Thanks so much, guys. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for drawing with me. I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same bat channel, noon Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. here in Phoenix, whatever time it's going to be with you are. Oh, in the meantime, by the way, if you haven't signed up for our new workshop, that's going to be happening in less than 2 weeks. Kosha's Killer Sketchbook Filler. You can learn more about that at sketchbookschool.com. And also, if you go to sketchbookschool.com/guide, if you haven't done that, that's where we're listing a lot of cool stuff that we're making or that we found to keep you busy. All basically free stuff that you can find out there. You can also sign up for our prompts. So sketchbookschool.com/ so let me just put it down here, sketchbookschool.com/guide. Pretty straightforward. And I'm going to add it here to the screen. Not there, right in front of my, oh wait, maybe. Here we go. Pencil thin mustache, anyone? All right, let's make it bigger. Put it down there. There you go, sketchbookschool.com/guide. It's our coronavirus creativity guide, packed with cool stuff that you can get for free. And you can get our 101 prompts. All kinds of stuff. So, see you tomorrow.